regardless of class or political affiliations. I must commend the Honourable Minister his role as an exemplar and leader. He is known as a man of action to the ideas of local governance and the development of this important facet of our society. Today's university. We should all look forward to these pivotal changes which promise to dramatically enhance our ability to execute our mandate. As we are all aware, the local government reform will place us in our hands a new range of capacity and responsibility which will increase our efficiency through the reduction in bureaucracy and red tape. We look forward to disaster management and public health report and secret operations as well as the rural development plans the way forward. In light of this, it is our best interest as the guardians of our respective corporations to approach these initiatives with acceptance and responsibility. We owe this not only to our citizens and burgesses, but also to our individual organizations. In doing so, we all must be proactive and take the necessary steps to prepare for the work ahead. It is my wish that we all add our collective voices to these developments as we work towards a better and brighter future. And please enjoy your stay with us in San Fernando. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. We always enjoy the southern hospitality when we come to the city of San Fernando. I would now like to welcome the chairman of the San Juan Labotil Regional Corporation and also the chairman of Talga to bring some remarks on behalf of the local government fraternity. So, Chairman Roberts.
Thank you very much, Fisccal. Good morning to all members present, distinguished Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Haji Qasim Hussain, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, distinguished Mayor of San Fernando, Mayor Regrello, mayors and chairmen of municipal corporations, CEOs, other officials from the respective corporations, ladies and gentlemen, I am almost certain that every one of you in this room would be familiar with the name Titalga. And Titalga is a unique, I would want to say is a unique organization. I don't know if there are any other organizations that operate in the way Titalga operates, in the sense that we are non-partisan. In Titalga, there is no PNM or UNC, since this organization is a representative body for all local government practitioners. And I say all local government practitioners. The leadership of this organization goes to the political party who wins the local government election, but automatically the vice chairman of that organization goes to the other political party that is second to passing the post. You see, the intention is for all practitioners to work together for the betterment of local government. And so I want to state the objects of the organization. And to tell you that TALGA is no fly-by-night organization, because it is taken care of by statute and is enshrined in the Municipal Corporation Act of 21 of 1990. You can find information on TALGA in sections 233 to 235, and the object states that the association, the objects of the association is to promote the common interests of all local government bodies, and more particularly, A, to promote the effective and efficient management of municipal corporations. B, to act as a medium of communication and to confer with the municipal corporations. And C, to provide representation on government or public bodies. And we believe that that is important, especially in organizations like WASA and TNTech, because of the role that they play in providing the kind of services that are extremely important to our burgesses. We believe that it is not enough to just have them come to a regional coordinating committee, but that we should be able to influence decisions from the level of the board. And so, Minister, it is maybe an appropriate time to put you on notice that we will be making representation to the government through you to ensure that when they're constituting the board of these organizations like WASA and TNTech, that we are given some consideration. So these are the objects of TALGA, and you would note that nowhere in the objects of TALGA there's anything to do with the negotiating of terms and conditions for members of the organization. Nowhere in the document. But, Honorable Minister, our organization has grown and developed over years. And so our members believe that we should be making representation on their behalf for terms, better terms and conditions, because the conditions under which members of the fraternity operate is extremely poor. And so, notwithstanding it is not enshrined in the Act, we do make representation on behalf of our members, and the Minister will attest to this, that we have had several discussions, not only with him, but with former ministers of local government, in an attempt to improve the terms and conditions of members of the fraternity. Because some of these conditions, it takes a little while before they can come in place, they can be put in place. Our membership love to hate the association because they believe that not only this executive, but past executive are not doing enough to change the conditions under which we have to operate. Over the past 10 years, TALGA has been having discussions, and because the CPO and the Salary Review Commission have begun to recognize the presence of TALGA, we have been having discussions with these bodies, the CPO and their consultants from Canada and the Salary Review Commission, hoping to try to get them to understand that while it is said that we are part-time, we work full-time. We perform full-time duties for a part-time stipend. As well, they are trying to understand the difference between the chairman and the mayor. They have been holding discussions separately with mayors and the chairman, and to date, as they indicated to me, they are unable to find out what really is the difference. We have been making recommendation that this situation be changed, and we hope with the amendments to the significant amendments that this government is making to the Municipal Cooperation Act, that this situation would be dealt with and we would become on par with our colleagues within the region and worldwide. Because on too many occasions when we attend international conferences, we have to spend time to explain what is the difference between a chairman and a mayor. And even in countries like Dominica, they don't have that situation, but we do have it in Trinidad. But as we negotiate and meet with the CPO and the Salary Review Commission, I am of the view that this government, with the reform, is contemplating another kind of arrangement, as they believe it would be simpler to deal with remunerations for local government practitioners, as it is proposed that we all supposed to be full-time. The business of the people is too important for us to treat it as a part-time responsibility. As I move to another issue, with the coming of the Planning and Facilitation Bill, which is now before the Parliament, Talga negotiated to have a representative on the National Planning Authority, which is one of the main bodies identified by this piece of legislation. Talga is also negotiating to ensure that we have representation at the level of the CPO when they are having their negotiations with the trade union for terms and conditions for staff at the municipalities. We have ensured in the new legislation that we cater for the needs of all membership by expanding on the objects of the association, so that we could now legally advocate and lobby on behalf of local government practitioners for better terms and working conditions. This was never part of the objects of the association, and we ensure that this will now be part of the legislation so that we could now do it legally and have some teeth. Secondly, we are including the ability to forge relationships and to collaborate with regional and international bodies so that we could be in a position to share best practices. Friends, we do this already, but it is not under our remit. You see, at this time, we are members of the Caribbean Association of Local Government Authorities. As a matter of fact, We have the chairmanship at this time, that is, Talga has the chairmanship of the Caribbean Association of Local Government. We are members of the Commonwealth Local Government Foundation, where we have membership on the board, and we are the only members in the Caribbean, country in the Caribbean, or organization in the Caribbean to have membership on the UCLG, which is the world body of local government. There are a number of other issues to which, and maybe I would be given some time on another occasion to deal with some other issues, because I am advised that my time has now expired. Thank you very much.
The ministry at the middle of this year, and she has hit the ground running and fallen in very nicely with our rural development and local government family. Ms. Daniel.
Good morning, Senator the Honorable Hazi Kazim Hussain, Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, His Worship the Mayor of San Fernando, Alderman Junior Regrello, P.S. Ramlogan, mayors and chairmen of the other municipal corporations, members of council who are present, CEOs of our corporations, CEO and chairman of Rural Development Company and of CPEP, heads of units and departments and sections of the ministry, members of the administration from the various corporations, members of the media. Good morning. It is my pleasure to be here this morning as we take the opportunity to pause and to plan, to reflect and to recharge. I have been here for just a short while, and I can tell you as a career public officer who has managed to move to a number of different ministries over my tenure, that if I did not have an appreciation for the importance and the magnitude even of local government, I certainly do now. In fact, I'm almost ashamed to say that I didn't recognize before, but I am, and maybe that is something that the ministry would need to do to really have people know what the ministry is about, what local government is about, but there's certainly an appreciation. At this time we can celebrate because we have had accomplishments. Certainly in the brief period I've been here, we have had a disaster, we've had a couple of incidents, and we've had opportunity to see local government at work, not just within corporations, as everyone from top to bottom got involved. I mean, I saw chairmen in boots and going out into the trenches, and of course the minister, led by the minister, in the water and doing and working, and not to be seen, not to be noticed, not to be pictured. In fact, I think our failing, if it is any failing, is that we did not highlight all that we were doing. Our DMUs, I mean, the coordinators, they were there. And I don't know if the country recognizes that they've been at it for about a period, almost of my tenure, for about 2 months on the trot. And we've also seen not just local government at work within corporations, but across, as persons helped one another, as corporations assisted one another, and there was no challenge for people getting involved. As even at the level of chairmen and mayors, we saw that coming together, that camaraderie. I think it was also an opportunity to see the importance and the knitting with other people, as we saw our hands-on approach in helping the Ministry of Social Development, for instance, and unfortunately we have still been assisting in that regard. And there has been no reluctance, because there's an appreciation at local government level that it is all one, that it is all about country and service to country, whatever form or fashion it takes. So I am pleased to be here, I'm pleased to be with this ministry in these my final moments in the public service. And I'm sorry for throwing that in, it's something I celebrate. But it is good to spend it here where I understand and appreciate. Maybe as I retire, I will consider local government. Thank you.
I'm sure many of the municipal corporations here would look forward to having you on their council. For our feature address, I would like to invite someone who is no stranger to you all. He is a wonderful leader for our local government fraternity. He has come up the ranks and been a colleague to most of you for almost 40 years. Not to date him at all. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Senator the Honorable Haji Kazim Hussain, Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, to bring our feature address.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ramdat Singh. His Worship, the Mayor of the City of San Fernando, Alderman Junior Regallo, Mrs. Jennifer Daniel, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, Mrs. Tara Ramlogan, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, Acton, mayors and chairmen who have come from far, Chairman Terry Rondon and Mayor Lisa Morris. And some of you all might be asking, why San Fernando? Because most of you all say, have it in San Fernando when I ask. Members of council who are heads of their respective infrastructure committee, chief executive officers of the 14 municipal corporations, CEO of the Rural Development Company, Mr. Jason Kisun, and his chairman, Mrs. Patricia Alexis. The chairman of CPEP is out of the country. He'll be back today. But we have the general manager here, Mr. Keith Eddy. Members of the administration from various corporations and members of the media. I want to say to you all a special good morning and for taking the time to come to plan the country's business. We are moving into an auspicious year in that 2019 for many of us is local government elections. Local government elections will be held in 2019, and that call is not for me, but for the Honorable Prime Minister. Now more than ever, you will be called on to provide an account to the people for what you have achieved and what you have advocated and for how you have been treating your burgesses. Everybody wants their time in office to be fruitful, whether or not you intend to go back and fight for your seat. So mayors, chairmen, and aldermen and councillors all should be on the ground interacting with the people. And I want to make a special appeal to all the mayors and chairmen here this morning that you have a duty to check upon your aldermen and councillors. I've been getting reports of some councils can't even have a quorum at meetings. Members come late at meetings. So I'm going to ask the Permanent Secretary to write each council CEO through the mayor and chairman. I will be writing the mayors and chairmen for attendance of all council members. Because you were put there by the people and you have to work for the people. And we have to take this job very seriously. We started a cleanup exercise for Diwali, and we want to continue going straight into 2019. We are going to start clearing the open lots, removing derelict vehicles, getting rid of old tires, batteries, attending to dilapidated structures, illegal signage, clearing drains, road verges, etc. Local government is in everybody's backyard. As you wake in the morning, is local government. So we have a duty. We, myself, each mayor, each chairman, each CEO, have a duty to make sure that we keep our country clean. We need to do a little more. And all eyes will be on us from now until the local government elections. 2 years have passed, and now the time is really heating up, I should say. Everybody's on election mood, whether you belong to the UNC or whether you belong to the People's National Movement. As I said, we must keep this country clean, and we have to tackle illegal dumping. The fines next year for illegal dumping will be doubled, and we must uphold and enforce the law and bring perpetrators to justice. So I'm speaking directly to all present in the room, especially the public health end. You have a duty to find the people who are doing the dumping, because every one of us know where people dump illegally. I could take up my phone and show you over about 100 and something videos, and pictures included, where people send to me where people are dumping tires, mattresses, flooding water courses. So I'm asking you all to find these people and deal with them. The fines will be increased next year. It was passed in the budget. And we must bring these people to justice. A handful of few people cannot cause this to happen in our country. Dumping causes public health hazards in the communities that they occur. Rodents, bad smells, it's unsightly, and most importantly, it is a contributor to flooding, which has caused several severe problems across this country. So we need to strictly deal with this problem. My office would be in contact with you to get the list of vehicles and equipment handled by the Board of Survey. And every mayor and chairman sitting in this room here, even when I was a mayor in San Fernando, and the CEO could testify, we have been trying to get rid of old vehicles for the last 13 years. And I am sure it is happening in other corporations. I see Chairman Rondon shaking his head. We have a duty to make it happen, because administrations come and go and it is not happening. We have to clean up our corporations first. It's happening in Sandy Grande, it's happening in Penal DB. We have old vehicles parked up there. I went to the Port of Spain Corporation yard a couple of weeks ago, and Mayor Martinez, you know it for a fact, there are a lot of vehicles that you're trying to get rid of, but the system is slow. Very slow. So we have a duty. But system don't exist? Well, we have a duty. And as Mayor Chairman Robert said just now, that we want to make representation on different boards, and I agree with him, because we have a say, well, I have a say, who to recommend to put on the health boards in the different regions. They come to me and I call the mayors and chairmen, whoever they might be, and ask for a recommendation, because you all will know who these people are better than me. Because when I was mayor, I recommended to Minister Khan, a person for the SWRAJ. I want to touch on the derelict vehicle cleanup. We're going to do it Later on, we're going to have the various speakers. And this is not a long program. By lunchtime, we should finish. We're going to deal with dilapidated buildings for a whole month. We're going to deal with derelict vehicles for a whole month, cleaning up a whole month until you're ready to fight elections. So the people out there can't say, well, it's only when election time come, I am seeing you all. We all will be there. That is why when I came into office, for 6 months, we did the cleanup campaign. It was just after the local government election. So the people can't say they don't know who their representatives are. Because we often hear, I don't know who's my councillor. And you always hear it. So we're going to do this for the next, until whenever the Prime Minister decides to call the election date. I have some issues with productivity and customer service at all 14 corporations. I want to urge you to set the example for productivity and customer service in the corporations and also at CPEP. I want you all as leaders, including myself, to lead by example. Her Excellency, the President, recently spoke out about poor quality of public service. And I read the article, and in a lot of cases, she is right. I know at the corporations, we are the closest to the people. So the people who we are working for, which are the clerks, the chief officers, you must be pleasant, you must be punctual, and you must be willing to assist. And I am making this plea today, and I hope, I remember when I used to work here, it was a long time ago, when I came to work after 8:10, we used to draw a red line. I don't know if that still exists. And anybody coming after 8:10, after a certain amount of days, you have to account to the various heads, and you'll get a warning notice. So I am asking the CEOs, and especially through the permanent secretary, to ensure that whether you are a CEO, or whether you are a chief executive officer, or you are a cleaner, because I was a cleaner, I am not ashamed to say I was a cleaner. Whatever portfolio you hold in a corporation, please reach to work on time. Ensure if there's one goal that you achieve in 2019, it's productivity and customer service. I see it all the time. When I was here, and I would watch outside the council chamber, and I don't want to target here alone, but at the ministry too, I also see it. People coming to work 10 o'clock. People leaving at 2 o'clock. We are being paid by the taxpayers, and we must be serious about our jobs. If we do it, the people under us will do it. If I know the CEO coming to work 10 o'clock, the CEO staying home 2 days for the week and 3 days for the week, what do you expect the people underneath to do? And it will affect, it's a ripple effect, it's a chain effect down the line. So I am pleading with you all, I am asking you all to ensure that we have productivity. And I don't want this to be a talk shop this morning, you know. I want when you all, as mayors and chairmen, go back to the council. And I saw a councillor came in here from Port of Spain. He's a very vocal person, and I know he will take back my message. And I want you all to hold your caucuses and your council meeting, because you are leaders in the corporation, to ensure that you have productivity. To go with the productivity, I am asking you all to ensure that you all treat the public with dignity. Because they are our customers. I know the mayor of Port of Spain, out of his duty as mayor, is a successful insurance person. And without the customers, he is nothing. And he's nobody. So I'm asking you all to ensure that the people who visit the corporation, whether they want to bury a dead person, or they want a plan, assistance with plan, they want public health issues, they want drainage, treat them nice. Listen to them. Smile with them. Talk to them. We take these things for granted. But you have to listen. And you have to talk to them. You don't want somebody coming here and they say, when I come here, they treat me, they rough me up, and they treat me like a so-and-so. You don't want that. Don't refuse, as mayors and CEOs, to meet with people. Make time for the people. Because all of us have an expiry date here, whether we are politicians or administration. I heard the PS saying just now she is going to leave just now. And PS, I will miss you. I will really miss you because you came here in a short space of time. And I didn't know, because you look very serious, so I was kind of scared at the beginning. But I didn't show you that. I put up a face and I said, well, I'm going to work with you. And I have a little charm, you know. So I give you your space and I know you give me mine. And I am not in anything underhand. So you will have no problem with me. And so far I could testify that you have none that I know of. I always want the best for the people that we serve, and I want to instill that into the people who, in the corporations, whether they're in CPEP or the Rural Development Company. Because we want to use big words and be involved in drive a nice car and the glass up. That is not for local government. If you want that, you're in the wrong ministry. You need for the people to see you, and you need to interact with the people. We are servants of the people. We all know that. We must get value for our money. We must get it. Across the 14 municipal corporations, we have 982 million and some change in personal expenditure across the 14 corporations. So with that, make sure that people earning these salaries are doing what they are paid for. Make sure the roads, the drains are clean, because debris continues to cause flooding. Make sure recreation grounds, road verges, and cemeteries are well maintained. When you drive across the country, you will see cemeteries overgrown. No. A picture was sent to me yesterday from a corporation, Penal Labor Corporation, and I saw where they put up a sign for a cemetery. And I complimented the CEO and I tell him this is so beautiful. But he made sure and tell me this morning when I walk in, it didn't cost much. So I want you all to look after your public cemeteries. And things what I am saying here is the things for the small man to feel happy about, you know. Everyone should feel happy about. You're going to bury your loved one, which is your wife. I notice I say your wife first, talking from a man's point of view. You're burying your husband, or your child, or a dear friend. You don't want to walk into a cemetery and it's overgrown, and it's not looking good. So I want to ask you all to ensure that your cemeteries are very clean and accommodating at all times. cut the grass regularly. We have public health departments in each corporation. We have a lot of money being spent for wages. So ensure, instead of somebody coming to work 7:30 and leaving 9:30 or 10 o'clock, make sure the supervisors supervise the people that are working under them. Nobody telling you work 8 to 7 to 4 and you're doing nothing after lunch. But when you do the work, the hours you do the work, make sure it is done in a proper manner. And this year I should say, we have almost completed the contractor list at CPEP. It hasn't finished as yet. And each corporation, I wrote to each mayor and chairman to assist CPEP at picking up the cuttings on the road verges, on the roadsides. And why I'm asking you all, because CPEP will be working with the corporations come January. CPEP won't be working on their own. CPEP will be split in 3, and the 3 CPEP will be going into, the chairman will, and the general manager will make that announcement. 1/3 will be going to the Ministry of Agriculture. 1/3 will be going to the Ministry of Works, where they will be seeing about the highways and also the bus route and the urban areas. And 1/3 will be going to the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government. And with that, we'll be able to get the assistants, and the mayor and the chairman and the councils will be able to make their requests in a reasonable manner. Because right now, CPEP is doing a lot. They are cleaning schools, I know that. People make requests for open lots. So, I was asking the mayors and chairmen publicly here this morning to give the assistance to CPEP. Because anywhere you go, you see CPEP working very hard. And we should give CPEP a round of applause. The general manager is here. They work very hard. And I could say, I don't know how, I wouldn't want to ask the salary, but I don't think it's much, but they make a living. And they have families too. So, work together with CPEP and let us get the job done. Also, I want the rural communities, each community, each corporation have a rural community. And we have the Rural Development Company, and we have the chairman here, who is Mr. Patricia Alexis, and the CEO, interim CEO, Mr. Jason Kisoon, that you all have rural projects. You could pass it on to me, or pass it directly to the chairman and CEO of Rural Development. Only day before yesterday, I met with the chairman of Couva Corporation. The day before yesterday, Chairman Awang, Monday. And through the Ministry of Rural Development under the Permanent Secretary and through the engineer, Ms. Hini Maraj, we are dealing with the Bailey bridges across the country. So anywhere that you have these broken down bridges that are affecting the community, we are here to help you all. I visited a couple day before yesterday, and chairman is here. We went to Arima also. You Mayor Morris. Right, yes. Chairman Leacock is not here, but we, yeah. So we are dealing with these Bailey bridges across, and it affects the community. Eh? I went up there in that area in Arima, and Hini Maraj, you could tell, I testified, the whole village came out because they were excited to know that they're getting a new bridge. And they're going across the dilapidated bridge, and I am glad that the councillor for the area, the chairman of the corporation, and together with the member of parliament, which is Mr. Garcia, he made the recommendation to us, and we decided to visit. But one thing I like to do, I don't want to sit down in Kent House all the time. My job is out there. I go into corporations, I'm not telling nobody when I come in. That's how I know people come in to work late. I seen use of corporation vehicles is unacceptable. I am asking you all to monitor the use of corporation vehicles. And I'm also asking the PS, in your special way, in your own way, we're not buying no expensive vehicles to drop letters from ministry to ministry. You don't want no Prado to do that. You can buy a Tida to do that. Or a cheaper vehicle. So, as we move forward in fiscal year 2018 to 2019, you must submit your projects early so that works can get done in the dry season. I know you all were asked to submit, and I think most of you all, only a few didn't submit, but the earlier you submit, for the first person to submit is Princestown Regional Corporation, every year. And they did it first, then Penal DB and Ligo Martin, Arima, most of you all did it. But I'm asking you all to submit it early. I know you encountered obstacles in last fiscal year when it came to releases. I knew it because you all were calling me and I was calling the Ministry of Finance. Because there where the money comes from. And that is something that the ministry has been in communication with. We have always been in contact with the Ministry of Finance. So when you all make a request from me, I don't sit on it or put it on my desk. And as I tell everybody all the time, my desk is always clean. And when it's time for me to leave there, if they're going to replace me or election call, I just have to get up and walk out. I have two things there personal to me, which is a prayer book and a prayer mat. And I will take up that and leave. So make sure that you have your projects early in so we can start productivity. And when you have any projects, I will be coming around to visit them. And also you all are reminding you all again to make sure that you make your requests to the Rural Development Company for rural projects. I was in Cuba also last week with the Member of Parliament where a whole village is going to be cut off. A school is right there, a mosque is on the right-hand side, and the road is almost, it's impossible. I'm trying to get help from us, from the Ministry of Works. And you know, God does say help those who help themselves. So, CEO, you all have to help yourself too. So, once you all put out something and we put out something, we will get the job done. We have a few projects, as I said, we want to do before, which is street signage, and it is starting in January. And we have the engineer, Mrs. Maraj and Ms. Aisha, Ms. Julia, who will be coming to you all from January in each corporation. And we're going to have street signage. Every street within this country will have a sign. The money was passed in the budget. I made the request. And whether you belong to a rural community or an urban community, we are going to get a street sign in every trace, in every street, in every city, and throughout the country of Trinidad and Tobago. We also have a program in place which is called Latrine Eradication Program, which will be done through the Rural Development Company. And normally it was done by the Port of Spain Corporation, the East Development Corporation, I should say. And I know two areas are affected, which is Rio Claro Corporation and the Port of Spain Corporation. But and Samuel Lavantil, yes. So any other corporation that needs the help with latrine eradication, you all have to contact either me, or you could write to me, or the chairman of the Rural Development Company. I want to thank a special gentleman this morning who, when Mr. Rishi Siu, who most of you all know, passed away, and may his soul rest in peace, because he was the disaster management coordinator at the ministry. We were looking for someone to fill the position. The position has been advertised, and in the interim, I want to recognize Mr. Jerry David. And you all should give him a round of applause. He likes to refer to himself as a pastor, but he is the disaster management coordinator. And he, together with all the disaster management coordinators, and I see my friend from Pinal Lebe here in the back, worked tirelessly all over the country, together with all of us. But they were talking to me all hours of the day and night. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I remember he was calling me about releasing the boats in Pinal Lebe to take it to where? To Napuna. Tunapuna wanted help, and Pinal Lebe was willing to assist. And they called me 2 o'clock in the morning, and they couldn't get the CEO to give the permission. And Mr. CEO, no disrespect to you, because I love you, I told them, take a bolt cutter and cut the lock, because this is an emergency and this is a disaster. But they didn't have to do that. They got in touch with you. And they made sure and took up the boats. And I want to thank you and thank your chairman for the assistance. And I want to thank all the corporations that helped all the other corporations. And this year in particular, we took our approach that we're going to use our all-of corporation approach. We're not going to let Pinal Lebe suffer and nothing happening in Port of Spain, and the Port of Spain could help. When I was with the Prime Minister and the Minister who works in Sandy Grande with Terry Rondon, Chairman Rondon, I called the Mayor of Port of Spain and I told him I wanted some trucks. And I called the Mayor of San Fernando, I told him we want backhoes and so on. And before we leave Sandy Grande, the trucks and backhoes and was there. Not so, Mr. Chairman? So I want to thank all the mayors and chairmen, Point 14 help, Siparia help, everybody help one another. So we are going to take this approach now for all of corporation approach. So if something happens in Toko Sandy Grande, Pinal Lebe could help. We don't want to hear nothing about who is PNM and who is UNC. I want to make that abundantly clear. It's an all of corporation approach. I'm not calling for all of a political approach. It's an all of cooperation approach. So I want to thank you all sincerely, because I was out there, I was everywhere that I could be, and you all did a fantastic job. We have 2 administrative complexes, which is the Diego Martin Regional Corporation and also the Pinal Lebe Corporation, will start in 2019. I see Chairman Hong is here. Myself and the Permanent Secretary was going to do a site visit last week, but because of some things I had to answer in the Senate, I couldn't go. But we will be going to the site visit. They are going to start as early as possible. The Pinal Lebe, we're waiting on the land acquisition. Confirmation, right. So, I don't want to say on my watch, but I am telling you all today, when I came into the ministry, I know what I had to do. I had to see about the municipal police. I had to see about these complex. I had to see about local government reform. I had to see about the garbage collection, which will be the new garbage collection now within the 14 corporations will have the say. And I didn't wait for anything. I know I have to do that. And I did it, and I got the support of everybody in the ministry. All the permanent secretaries who present, Ms. Bascom who is on leave, and all the members, the heads of the ministry, were very helpful. And I got all the support, and we are getting everything done at the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government. The reform, in the beginning of 2019, the legislation for local government reform will be going to the cabinet. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I told you all that coming before Christmas. But there was a few hiccups at the LRC, and we want to get it right. So, I want to assure mayors and chairmen and CEOs and the public that we, as local government representatives, will be going into the local government elections with local government reform. And I think it's a great achievement, because since the time of Eric Williams this has started, every government came through, tried, and they did their part. And I want to thank all the previous ministers of local government, all the prime ministers who have passed, to try to make this happen. But somebody was talking to me on the phone early this morning, and they was telling me how they grew up. Their mother was a seamstress and had to make sacrifices to send them to school. And today, that person is a very prominent attorney. I wouldn't call the name, but a very prominent attorney. And they told me, which I always tell everybody and which I know for a fact, that what is for you is for you. People could pull you down, they could push you up, they could stand by you, they could say what they want, good or bad or negative. What Almighty God have for all of us sitting in this room here, you can't change it. Because I always use myself as an example. If I ask myself, which I always do, especially when I'm praying, how on earth I reach where I reach? I can't say it. But in my faith and my belief is Almighty God have me here. And I am not going to come and sit in this position and fool myself and just drive up and down the road and fool the people in the corporation. I am not doing that. I come here to achieve on behalf of you all, and I want to encourage you all as mayors and chairmen. This is a serious job to act on behalf of the people. So as I said, with the reform, the new legislation will be coming, and there will be no more local government again. There will only be the Ministry of Rural Development, and the local government corporations will be reporting directly to the Ministry of Finance, and that is in the reform. We also argue for Executive Council. Some members of council will be full-time. Some of them just say, I can't come to this meeting because I have to go to work, and I have this, and I can't come to this meeting, and I can't do this, and you know, as I'm talking about that, I forgot something. I've been getting reports that some, not all, that some councillors don't even go to the offices that are being paid for by the government. And I want to ask you all, mayors and chairmen, to ensure that the councillors go to their offices, make their phone numbers and email address accessible to the people who put them in office, have an office day, so the people who have their complaints could come to them. I know the mayors and chairmen do it. So I'm asking the councillors to ensure that this is done. Some of the corporations, most of the corporations will be collecting their taxes, and that is the residential taxes so they can have a say where the money will be spent. I want to thank you, the corporation, mayors and chairmen, CEOs, who have been working tirelessly and with readiness to start the reform. Some corporations, I know Sawa Lavantil, have already started to put the committees in place that the reform will be using. Not so, Chairman Roberts, right? I know you have, I attend the statutory meetings. I've been attending the statutory meetings throughout the council, throughout the corporations, and some of the corporations, as I said, that I want you mayors and chairmen to tighten up on the statutory meetings, because that meeting, the statutory meeting, is the most honorable meeting of the council. You can't get people talking on the cell phone in a statutory meeting and eating in a statutory meeting and getting up without asking the chairman or the mayor permission to leave. That is not right. And you have to dress properly. You can't come in there, you have on a tie, especially the men, because the lady is always well dressed. Bring some dignity back to our statutory meeting. Invite the media, invite members of the government to your statutory meetings, invite your members of parliament, who the area you're from, to attend your statutory meeting, and if possible, carry your statutory meetings live, because there's social media now, and people listen to your statutory meetings. People have to know what goes on in the council, what they put you in office for. Let them know what you all are fighting for. Also, I am urging you all to invite members of the public to your statutory meetings. And if you have to move your statutory meetings according to time to suit the members of the public, please do it. Because you will definitely need these people to support you in 2019. So don't wait for the election 2 weeks before to interact with everybody. That is why we put in the program in place. So you all be there. We will be there, whether you're a minister, or whether you're a mayor, or a chairman, or a councillor, you all meet with the people. I want to say proudly that when I went into office, I decided, the promise was made by the Honorable Prime Minister in 2015 that he will add to the municipal police 100 police in each municipal corporation and 200, with the exception of Port of Spain, which will be having 200 police officers. The process began. I went in there with the assistance of the PS and members of the ministry. We started the process. And the first batch, I want to say, you all, the mayors, chairmen, CEOs will be invited. Of 200 will be passing out next week, Wednesday. So you all will get your invitation. So Mr. Headley was not here. I don't know if he was invited. He was invited, but he's not here. And this is the next thing, And I'm not referring to him. When you all get invited to important, because this is not a talk shop, This is serious business here. We are accountable to the people of this country. We went out and asked for the vote. And when you get into office, you wouldn't look for them until probably the next election. When you get invited to functions, especially important functions to discuss the future of the corporation and interacting with the people, you all please attend. Attend to it. I have Senate next week, Tuesday, and I asked permission last night because I have a leader. All of us have bosses here. All of us. The mayor have a boss, the CEO have a boss. I had to ask my boss last night for permission next week, Wednesday, to attend this municipal graduation and the passing out parade. And he told me, yes, because we have Senate, you can't miss Senate, you can't miss Cabinet, and you can't miss the Senate and the Parliament without a good reason. So, mayors and chairmen, ensure that your members of council attend to these meetings that they're invited to, and don't send no representative. You all come and you all report back. Some people send the deputy CEO and the vice chairman or the deputy mayor. Come, because you all are important. Make sure and come. The municipal police will be working closely with the citizens in the communities. There will be more foot patrols and vehicular patrols. We will have a better working relationship with the TTPS. And I am sorry the Assistant Commissioner is not here. But I want him to ensure that the 14 municipal corporations police force have a very good working relationship with the TTPS. We also want to have a good working relationship with the Transport Commissioner, because next year I intend to go to the corporations. We will do our community patrols, our community interaction with the citizens. I wanted to go to Shoguanas first, and I want to go to Point Fortin, and we're going to ask the Transport Commissioner to accompany us together with the TTPS, and we're going to have a more community reaction with the people. We're just not going to stop them and charge them for license and smooth tires and whatever, but we're going to ensure that we work together with the community, a softer approach. Because if you go to talk to somebody rough and want to bully them, they ain't taking you on, you know. But if you talk to them nice, like I was talking nice to the PS, they will listen to you. And they will see who you are, because once you're genuine, people will know. So we're going to outside there and talk to the community, stop cars that pass on the road, and we give them flyers, talk to them, give them the numbers of the police, the municipal police. I will ask the mayors and chairmen and the councillors to accompany me. Next year we'll be on the ground. So in closing, I would like to say a special thank you to all the mayors and chairmen. I have written to all mayors, all chairmen, all aldermen, all councillors, wishing them a Merry Christmas, a bright and prosperous New Year, wishing you and your loved ones, your family, good health with long life. Remember, this is a time for giving and a time for loving. And I am urging and pleading with you all to show more love. And don't take this job and let it stress you out. Put your family first and show love. Love is first and foremost in everything. Whatever religion, whatever political affiliation, show love. And just don't hear me and let go to air. Love will make the difference in your life. It will make the difference. City Mayor of Port of Spain pointing to somebody about love. The chairman of Rio Claro. So I came from Rio Claro. It have a lot of love up there. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is a serious year coming, 2019. I want you all to be on the ground. And I am not going to stand here and say I want you all to be on the ground, and I am not coming on the ground with you. I will be on the ground with you. We will be interacting with the community from Diego Martin to Sandy Grande, from Sandy Grande to Point Fortin, and Point Fortin back to Port of Spain, throughout the country. So may Almighty God continue to bless all of us and give us good health with long life. May He bless our families. And I will continue to look forward to working with you all. And before I close, I said it many times, I want to say a special thank you to everyone who came out today, and especially to the members of the Ministry of Rural Development under the Permanent Secretary. And I would like you all to give them a round of applause, please. Because any problem that you all give to me, and Dr. Ramada Singh has given me a lot of problems, I always consult the PS and consult the heads. Some take longer than some, but they all have good intentions. So continue to give them the support, and while I am there at the ministry, I will continue to give you all the support that you all need. So thank you very much, and have a productive evening. Thank you. But I could tell you, Chairman, I am the boss today, so I could say, I want the chairman and the mayors. This is a very important point. The markets in the corporation, all the markets in the corporation, because people buy food stuff there. I want you all to ensure that the markets are clean and the markets are there for what it is for, which is to sell products, vegetarian products and the other products, but not, I don't want it to be selling illegal things in the market. And I am going to get together with the police, because the Port of Spain Corporation have taken action against in the Port of Spain market, where illegal activities take place there. And I want to make sure that the cemeteries and the markets, especially the central, all the markets in the corporations, you all make sure that what the markets are there for is for that and only that. So I'll be visiting the 14 markets in the 14 corporations. And I don't want to clean up because you all know I come in the next day, because I'm not telling you all when I'm coming. I want it to be clean, and what the market is for, I want it to be used exactly for that. So thank you all very much, and you all give the support to everyone present in the room. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I know that we can all take something away from Minister's words of guidance, from his expertise in local government, and he knows the ins and outs of this business. So we can really take a lesson from what he has said here today. We'd like to switch gears now, as we have our heads of unit coming to do the presentation, and we want to open this to be a little interactive and have some discussion. We'll first have our project planning unit to talk about our major projects and our PSIP. I know that our CEOs, we had asked you if you hadn't submitted your PSIP packages to bring them along with you today, so you can always submit those at the registration table that you saw when you came in. And for the presentations, I would like to now ask our head table if you can move into the audience, just so you can benefit and see the screen. And I would like to invite our presenters, Ms. Gaynell Andrews-Vegas, our Senior Project Planning Officer, and Ms. Julia Ramirez-Modest to come and get set up. We don't have a timer or a light to indicate when presentations should be over. So just a note to our presenters, when your time is getting close and you have 2 minutes left, I will come and stand behind you, so you will have an indication that it's time to wrap up.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nadine David Figaro, and I'm from the Project Planning Unit. My task today is to introduce you all to 2 new projects, PSIP projects. Well, one is not so new, the latrine is not a new project. Introduce you all to 2 projects that the ministry will be implementing this year. The first one is the National Latrine Eradication Program, and the second is the Local Roads and Street Signage Program.
Where the Port of Spain mayor instructed the municipal police to just visit the market and they found illegal activity. Something.
Is it what is being sold? Because I think in Port Spain would have been alcohol.
Just call me up or saying for now. Yeah. No, but it happened in San Fernando. While I was here, I was getting reports. So I want to ensure, same I want the cemeteries in all over the country, I want the markets to make sure that it's happening. And this thing about, I write the mayors about you're selling bygone and body and lettuce on High Street and the main street. That's for the market. That's for Mayor.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning. You remember I spoke about the Port of Spain illegal activities. You could comment on it?
Well, first of all, all markets have trade and development, like things like that in the markets. But this is not a very recent. This is over a period of time we have had a number of incidents where we've had the sale of illegal substance and also the alcoholic beverages within the market space. So we have from time to time asked our police officers to make sure that they make their wrongs within the market, because the market is really for produce and for families to come and shop, and we want to find a way of bringing back families to the market space. And in order to do that, we have to ensure that the market is first of all clean, that we don't sell any produce on the ground, that fish must be served on ice, that our cafeteria is air conditioned and the food is of a particular standard. So the public health must at all times be within the market space. We are making sure that at the end of work, at the end of the day, the market is thoroughly clean, because we have to ensure that rodents and any public health issues do not come up within the market space. We also now look for, because we had flooding recently, we are looking to ensure that the produce that may be affected by floods that doesn't seep into our system at the market. And so that when you buy vegetables or produce at the market, it is good, clean stuff, and it's not something that was palmed off by an unscrupulous farmer that would have entered the space. So the objective of the market is really to bring families back, to make sure that people continue to enjoy the space. We are working on proper parking because of where the central market is, and we are going to revive the St. James Market.
But specifically to the illegal stuff.
Yeah.
So you're making a distinction between illegal substance and alcohol.
Well,
So when we talk the illegal substance, are we speaking about drugs? Yeah?
well, yes, but in terms of recently, we don't have any recent incidents of drugs within the market space.
But you all would have made a bus.
Yes, some time ago.
recently,
Yes,
okay.
yeah. But the objective is that it should never exist in the first place, right? The marketplace is not a space for activity like that to occur at all. And the minister is right. He was speaking at our the way in which we have to respond to our citizens. Local government is on the ground. We are an entity that serves the people first, and we have to make sure that we are always there for the benefit of the community or the citizens that we represent.
All markets have police.
Yes, we do have a municipal police office there,
All markets have police.
Yeah. and we have little wardens also stationed
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Well, with the new batch of police passing out next week, we're going to increase the officers at each market.
Yeah.
So we're going to ensure that market is what it is for, which is to sell in market produce. Right? But I'm taking
No other kind of herbs.
no other kind of
We have basil, we have thyme, we have Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I get reports all over, you know. But I am going to act on every report I get. I am just not going to put it in a file and leave it there. I'm going out there. I'm going to visit the markets, whether it's in Topos, Sandy Grande, or Point Fortin, or anywhere throughout the country. I'm going to visit the markets. I'm going to ensure, as I said, all these cemeteries are clean, because people want these. These are things people want. And we have money allocated from the budget for wages. So we just can't say we let this cemetery overgrow and people getting money and nothing happening. No, just like how I'm working for my money, everybody have to work for their money.
I have to compliment the minister on this when he spoke about the cemeteries, because we just recently had All Souls and All Saints Day, and if you go into the La Perouse Cemetery, it was terrible, you know, bush all around, and you know, you're coming here to visit your loved ones on a special day like this. I've gone all over the world. I've seen cemeteries. As a matter of fact, we have had tours to cemeteries, especially like in New Orleans, where their population is very similar to how, you know, we function here. And I've done a tour to a cemetery, and it's so beautiful, and it's so much that there's so much character that you see in it, and it's our past, and it's also our future, in case we didn't know. And the thing about it is that we are not taking care of these things. So the minister is absolutely right. Our workers are not doing the job that they're supposed to do, and we have allowed these things to fall by the wayside, and that is not how we build a nation.
And you know, I want to draw this to you all. You know how much people just cut grass in this country? CPEP, the corporation, the 14 corporation, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Works under URP, cutting grass throughout this country, and still grass growing in that manner. So once the people do their job in the right way, we wouldn't have this to deal with. We wouldn't have it. You can't have 4 entities dealing with cutting grass, and the grass still growing all over the country. So proper supervision is the answer to this problem. No, no, no. No, it's just going to be the CPEP will still be doing the allocation of the contractors, financial part still CPEP. Just the workers will be assigned to the Ministry of Rural Development, some to the Ministry of Works to deal with the highways and the bus route, that's the Ministry of Works, and the community, the Agriculture Ministry, they will assist with, you know, doing seedlings and planting and things like that.
So they're still going to be operated under
CPEP.
Still be a PPEP,
Yeah,
CPEP,
yeah.
just
Yeah.
the workers with their
Yeah, it will,
different ministries.
yes.
So it's,
No, this will be from January. I am meeting with the chairman, the Minister of Works, the Minister of Agriculture, and myself. We'll be meeting together with the chairman of CPEP and the general manager, and we're putting this in place from January.
so this is all part of the local government reform.
Yes.
The CPEP, the splitting of CPEP, and then even the splitting of the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development.
The one with the reform, with the CPEP splitting entry, is not with the reform. We decided that the highways have to be clean, and the rural communities have to be clean, and then we want to, CPEP is not a long life job. It's not there for 10 years, and some people there for 3 years or 5 years, and we want to empower them and let them plant and know what it is like. So we're making sure that this will be our continued effort for the next couple of years. Yeah. Thank you all very much. Thank you all very much for coming.